Congress make some pretty stiff claims about Tulsi Gabbard, saying that she's a China sympathizer, that she is maybe even a Russian asset. I'm sure you've heard some of these charges thrown her way. What do you make of that, and what are your concerns about her becoming the Director of National Intelligence?
Well, look, she said many things publicly that I think disqualify her. These are not just because her views are extreme. They're on a different planet. They are the views of somebody who doesn't understand anything about American interest. And to put her in charge of the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, I think is malpractice. I think the effect it will have on foreign governments saying, we're not sharing intelligence with the United States if it's going to come into the hands of somebody like that. There are a lot of claims out there. That's why the basic practice of administration after administration and Senate after Senate for all senior appointees, but particularly people nominated to sensitive national security positions, it's before the Senate votes on them, they get a full field FBI background investigation. This is not picking on Tulsi Gabbard or anybody else. This is how you find out what's really going on with all of them. And sometimes it turns up very unexpected things. But I think if the Senate were, Trump doesn't have to order an FBI investigation, but the Senate can refuse to confirm somebody until one is held. And I think every Republican ought to insist on it, not just because of Tulsi Gabbard, but think ahead. There will be Democratic presidents who nominate people who are going to be sketchy, to say the least. And if Republicans have said, oh, there's no need for an FBI background investigation, they're not going to be able to demand one for the nominees of a future Democratic president. What goes around comes around. Think of the Senate's prerogatives. All Republicans should insist on a full field for all these nominees.
And I mean, one of the things I think people have lost sight of is the importance of the role of the Director of National Intelligence, which was created after 9/11, so you didn't have the stovepiping of information in the intelligence community. You know that all too well. We saw what took place on September 11th, and in the years that followed. It was a hugely costly time for this country in terms of blood and treasure. Are you concerned about just having Tulsi Gabbard in that role of Director of National Intelligence and the potential threat that is posed to this country by foreign terrorists? I mean, obviously that is still a threat that looms out there. Can she run an office as important as that office is?
Well, she has no experience in intelligence collection. She's been a modest consumer as a member of Congress, maybe some as a public affairs officer in the National Guard. I really don't know about her National Guard career, so I don't want to comment on that. But no experience in running a large operation or doing the coordination that the DNI has to do among 18 separate national intelligence agencies. I mean, my own view is ODNI has become excessively bureaucratic. I think there are better ways to do it. But I'm not sure that's why Tulsi Gabbard is Trump's nominee to go. He's not interested in making ODNI more efficient and effective. He wants his person in there to probe the deep state. And I think this is going to, since she has no knowledge whatever of what actually happens in the intelligence community, I think it's going to be a very corrosive influence. This is a bad nominee. I think of all the nominees Trump has put forward so far, she and Matt Gaetz were in a class by themselves.
Could it drive could it drive intelligence professionals out of the ranks of the intelligence community?
Depending on how she performs once she gets there, it's entirely possible. This is it cannot underestimate the seriousness of her job and how unqualified she is to do it.